Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Henrietta Sowubasi, fondly known as Auntie Sowubasi. Today, I'm going to talk to you about mental health in the African community. I am not a medical doctor. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a public health nurse and a certified autism specialist. I'm going to talk to you about general information within my scope of practice. That is as a public health nurse. Number one, we have to talk about the taboo about Africans not talking or not reacting to anything that have to do with mental health, because we still believe that we shouldn't discuss it, we shouldn't talk about it, and it will just go away. That is wrong. What most of us don't realize, what we did when we were kids in Africa and got away with it, if we do it here, we can't get away with it. In Africa, kids do things and people say it's a child's place. Oh, na picking place, they will get over it. And they usually get over it. Here in the diaspora, in America, in the UK, in Australia, wherever we are in the diaspora, the pressures that our children have, the peer pressure and the stress they are here in this country, we did not experience that in Africa, neither do the kids in Africa. In school, when we went to school in Africa, the kids will make fun of your shoe or other thing, but the problems that our kids are enduring in this country, it is so overwhelming that they need help sometimes to be able to handle the stressors that they are facing. Number one, we as parents have to be vigilant. We have to start observing and talking to our kids. As early as 4 or 5, if you see your child is doing something that you know is not age appropriate. For example, when I'm talking to parents about autism or special needs, if your child's behavior, like doing tantrums or being aggressive more than what is expected of a child, talk to your doctor. Most of these problems that start as early as toddlers of 4 or 5, these things can be controlled, most of them by behavior modification and some therapies. Most of you think if you just take your child, the doctor is just going to give them pill and go away. Most children don't need medication. Most of them just need behavioral therapy, and some of them may need medicine based on their conditions or what kind of problems they're having. But it is very, very important for us to talk to our kids. If you have a teenager or preteen who was usually open-minded or talking or excited about things, and you see that child withdrawing, please talk to that child. If the child cannot talk to you, take that child to your doctor and let them look for help. Because most of our kids will not talk to us. Because if we don't want to admit it, but our culture, we undermine everything or we make it like it's no big deal. You can get over it. When I was in Africa, this happened. I never have a psychologist. I did that too. I used to tell my kids, when we're in Africa, we don't have psychologists. When you have problem, you come and talk to people to get away. It is true in Africa, but not here. Most of the things our children go through here, if we don't control it, these children will end up in mental institutions or in jail. We all know about the recent activities that have happened on the news media. I don't want to go into that. I'm just going to talk to any parents right now listening to this. If you have your child, you know that child is having problem that you know it's going out of control. You cannot control. You cannot spank that child and that problem go away. You cannot take all their phones. The problem is not going to go away. You can make them say you are grounded. You are doing this. Those problems don't go away by us grounding them. They need help. Help that most of us as parents cannot give those children. And some of them may not want to talk to us, but they can talk to specialists. That's why in this country, in the diaspora, we have people who are specialized in helping our children to talk about the problems. Some of them will get peer group, they will get support group of their peers who are having the same problems. And these kids will get better doing that. Please, my people, do not compare our life in Africa to the one here. Things are far different. The pressures are far different. And we used to tell our kids, in our Africa, we don't do this to our parents. Yes, but the same thing in Africa, the things that our kids do here, they don't do back there. Kids are here in this country, they work, and the parents make them contribute. In Africa, you can live in your parents' house forever, you don't pay money. So there are so many things that we didn't do in Africa, we are making our children do here because of the circumstances. And because of the situation in this country, most of us work. We have to work to maintain their lifestyle. We have to work to pay the bills. So we may not be able to provide those services to our children. That's why we need to talk to their doctors, let them direct us and get the services for our children. Most of you, the Sierra Leoneans and others who know my child's junior, when he was like 6, 7, 8 years old, he was so aggressive. He used to bite me, pinch me, and when you look at him now, you will not believe that's the same boy. I was alienated. I didn't go to church. I didn't go anywhere because he would bite me, pinch me, and he would drop me on the floor. When I went and got behavior modification, he did not go on any medication. But they went and taught us about appropriate behaviors and negative behaviors and how to reward the good behavior. Teaching us that, I took that same teaching that they gave me, and I went to church with that. I went to the mall with that. I went to the stores with that. Wherever I went, I made sure I instilled those teachings that they have taught me. That's what helped my son. When you look at him now, he's this good boy, well-behaved and everything. And our children can be the same. Your children can be normal children if you get the help they need early. If you allow these children to go, they are going to do things that can be unimaginable. It is better for you to get help for the child. If you know you're a single parent or you cannot handle the child, like somebody was saying, maybe this child just needs to go to Africa for a little bit, let people help you, you get yourself on track, then you bring that child back. That is okay if that's what's good for your family. You have to do what is appropriate for your family, not what I am saying. And you talk to your doctor may be able to advise you. But my advice to you is, before you just say, this boy is giving problem, I'm going to drag this boy to Africa, maybe you need to talk to your doctor first. Talk to the doctor. Maybe there will be things here that can help him. If they have tried everything and nothing is helping, then you can make any other decision you want to make. But we as Africans have to acknowledge that mental health exists. Children have problems in this country. They have anxiety, they have depression, they have obsessive compulsive behavior. These are all things our children are going through. And some of them, it gets so overwhelming. The safest way to take it out is to take it out on us, the family, the parents, the moms, because that is their safe haven. They can't take it out on us without us taking them to court. But you know, if we don't control these children, they are going to continue this behavior until they do it in school or somewhere else and they end up in jail. Please, especially with the mothers, the dads maybe say, we need to take this child to the doctor or go call the police. And with the mom say, don't do that to my child. You want them to label my child. Everybody's afraid of label. What label would you prefer? Would you prefer them to say your child have anxiety or depression? Or would you like them to label your child as a killer, as a drug addict, as a violent person who nobody wants to make to be around? What label would you prefer for your child? I would rather them label my child as somebody who have depression, who have anxiety and compulsive behavior, than I sit here and I get a phone call that my child is in jail for shooting somebody, for stabbing somebody. And we have to realize that this place is not somewhere second chance is going to be. You do it today, if you do it tomorrow again, you will get away. No. You do it once, you're going to answer to the law. And especially us as minorities, most of us, they are already thinking that we are no good for nothing people, that our children won't amount to anything. We have to work 5 or 6 times to prove ourselves. And if you as an African, you know you have to work harder for people to even acknowledge your existence. Just imagine what our children go through when they go to school. These children come, sometimes their friends are probably teasing them about their parents, about the food we eat. They come to our house. Our kids will not tell you. Maybe they're going to fight. They hide this because these kids are teasing them about their culture. We are raising children in 2 cultures, but we have to find a way where we can get an in-between. I raise my children, I put some African values in there, but at the same time, I instill their American values because they are American children. I am an African. Even though I'm an African-American, but I'm an African. I was born in Africa. I was raised in Africa. My children were born in America. They were raised in America. The only culture they know is American culture. I cannot impose my own cultural values on them by force. There are certain values I put in them, like the respecting culture, about behaving, about moral values. I do that. But how to do things and take all the American things away, it wouldn't. Can you imagine, we that are Africans, that were raised in Africa, can you imagine if we came here and somebody told us everything we did in Africa we cannot do here, we cannot eat our food, we cannot do anything? Can you imagine how our life would be? If we are somewhere and people tell us even the way we talk, we cannot talk like that. We have to do this, we have to do that. We cannot exist in this country if people are putting limitations on our cultural values. That's the same thing we do when we try to take everything that our children have learned, that they are raised in this country, that they teach them in schools. These children are in school almost all the day. They come back home. We come, some of us work. When the children come, we are sleeping. We go night shift job. We don't see the kids maybe only on our day offs or on weekends. And every interaction these children have had has been with somebody who is non-African. And then on Saturday, we want to tell them to do everything African when they have no idea what to do, but what they have learned as an American child. That doesn't mean we cannot raise our children with moral values. There are so many people in America who are not Africans. Their children are well-mannered. They raise their children well. That have nothing to do with cultural things. It's out of basic upbringing. We can bring up our children with moral values. But when it comes to these fights we are having with cultural fights, we have to find a common ground. What can we just say, ignore this, instead of making a big fuss about it until the child explodes on us? We can make common ground about talking back. That is my African value. My children don't talk back at me. You wait until I finish talking, then you can talk to me. Or if you're upset, you go wait. The time I'm not angry, you come and tell me, Mom, when you said that I did not do that, I will apologize. And we have to learn to apologize to our children when we're wrong. Sometimes we just come and say, you, John, you came and speak all this word that we don't ask, did you do this? We always tell them, you came and did this. And when the kids say, I didn't do that, and we find out he didn't do it, we never turn around and say, I'm so sorry. We don't. Because we are telling them we are the parents. We cannot apologize to our children, and that is wrong. We want to come to America. We want to come to England. We want our children to apologize to us when they do wrong, but we don't want to apologize when we wrong them. And we have to learn that apologizing to our children, tell them, we expect this kind of attitude or behavior from you. When you do something wrong to me, I want you to apologize. But when we do something wrong to them, we don't want to apologize. When we accuse them falsely, we don't want to apologize. But we expect the children to apologize to us. How can they do that? So I am pleading to all of you Africans. Anyone who have a child who is having behavior problem, I'm pleading to you, please go talk to your doctor. Go get help for your child. Don't be hiding this. It is not something that we can hide. These kids can end up being normal citizens of the community and be contributing members of society if we, the parents, take the first step in getting help for our children. Get into the habit of talking to your children every day when they come to school. Even the 5-year will come. So what happened in school today? How was your day? And the baby little 5-year will say, it was sad. Johnny was mean to me. I say, how come? What did Johnny do to you? And they explain. And as your parents, instead of just ignoring, just say, give them, make them feel better. And just say, oh, hopefully next time, tell John, you didn't like that, okay? Say things to your child for them to know you care. Don't just say, hey, is that why you are crying because they said that to you? In Africa, you can say that. Here, you cannot say that to your child. If they come and make a complaint, we cannot tell somebody how to feel. Somebody cannot say, is that why you feel like that? That's their feeling. They have a right to feel any way they feel. As parents, we have a right to support them and minimize their pain. If they think it's so worried, it's okay, honey. It's going to be okay. All right? I hope you feel better. I'm sorry you are going through this, but we have to talk to our children. But talk to your doctor. Get them the help they need. Don't hide them in the house. Don't cover them. If your child do something wrong, the teachers complain. Most of you come and say the teacher doesn't like your child because they are complaining because my child is African. That's why. That's not the reason. If your child is misbehaving in class or disrupting the class, the teacher have a right to call you. And if it continue, that child is going to be expelled from the school. When they call you, talk to the school teachers. I talk to the principal. Is there any help? Is there a psychologist on campus? What can I do to get him help? They have behavior therapists for all of these things. And most of the thing, what you guys don't realize, these kids, they don't pay. Most of them, they don't pay. Because what they don't realize, they don't pay. Even junior, they don't look at your income when it comes to services for these children. We were paying for extra services, private lessons for his speech. But most of the things he got that the school district can give or even behavior therapy, we didn't have to pay a dime for it. We were paying extra for extra services to improve. But they can give you basic, all the services for him. And that's what helped him. So you can do it. Please, my brothers and sisters, let's help our children. Let's support them. Let's don't watch these children in our communities going astray or ending up in jail. Even if your child is doing drugs, they can get help. Get them help. Don't allow these children to to fall down into the cracks. We have come here, we've seen in the prison system is full of minorities, African Americans and Hispanics. All of them are in there because most of them we fail them. We are failing our children in our community. Something's happening. We have to get help for them immediately. Before they reach a stage when they are adults, we don't have control over it anymore. Now they are adults. They are going to answer to their problems that they are having. So I'm pleading to you and I'm begging you, if you have a child that is showing signs of depression, anxiety, withdrawal, violent behavior, please, my brothers and sisters, go call your doctor. Make an appointment. The doctor will refer you to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. They check that boy. He talk to people and get the help they need. Our children can be the best that they can be. They are not crazy. They can get the help. And some of them maybe who have really mental problems that need medication like schizophrenia and others. They may need to be on medications. But even that's the thing, it is better for them to be on medication and live a normal life, go to school, have a job and other things, than we just keeping them away from the community because we don't want people to notice our child have a problem. And even at that, it's not a good thing for we the parents. Because what you don't realize, when those children are going through problems like those, our health will deteriorate because no parent want to see their child suffering. And most of the parents, you see, they are dying slowly because these children's problems are weighing down on them. Their blood pressures are rising. They are having so many problems because of these children. So I'm pleading to you, seek help for these children. Don't hide them. There is nothing wrong about looking for help. You are even a hero if you get help for your child so that your child can be the best that they can be. Thank you, and let God bless us all, and let God bless our children. Thank you.